So guys, get yourself somebody that supports what the fuck you do.
That's why it's great to have a great respect.
A lot of people are asking me, hey, can we split up the deposits? Can we pay in different things?
We are live. Happy Friday, Facebook. How's it going, everybody? It is time. Look at man. We got some out-of-state people. We got our JD the intern back in the house.
Yeah, a fucking packed house, dude. I'm telling you, if you just set up a fucking camera on my front door and you just let that shit run, then it's always going to be just an amazing random smorgasbord of fucking crazy and unique individuals. Let's just say it that way. Remember that one time I had fucking Darius was here and we recorded the show. Then we had my friend Chef Patty from LA who happened to be traveling. So she went to New Mexico to learn how to cook New Mexican food. And so she spent a whole summer there, came back on her drive back, stopped by my house, was trying out all these recipes in my kitchen and shit, right? Then we had like a title person come in. Then we had like a wholesaler come in. Then we recorded the show. Then after the show, we went to go get Indian ice cream. So yeah, like the guy's just sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? Welcome to my world, buddy. Welcome to my world. So anyway, guys, we are the AZ Flip guys. That is Cashflow Kris. I am Cashflow Creator. We are just two ordinary guys doing extraordinary things, talking about real estate, mindset, and everything in between. The switches on the other side right over there. Yeah. All right. So anyway, we got JT, the intern, in the house. We got our very special guest all the way from Texas in the house, which we will get to in just 1 second. So we got people joining us here. Guys, if you guys are not joining us live, so you guys are hearing us on a podcast, A, make sure you download this fucking episode. B, make sure you give us a 5-star review. C, make sure you tell your friends about it. But D, most importantly, make sure that you join us live. Facebook.com/AZ Flip guys. Every Friday at noon, Arizona time, we have a live show where we either have a live guest here with us or we have a live guest somewhere else. And we're able to ask questions. We're able to sell comments. We're able to talk shit. We're able to share opinions. And it's just a fun time. Speaking of joining us, we got Sonia Ray in the house. We got Johnny Sanchez. We got Gray Cook. We got Ryan Labadee saying, what's up, guys? We got Gray Cook saying, what's up? Sonia saying, what's up? We got Josh Casher. We got JD in the house. Sonia saying you guys got some sexy shirts on. I know, right?
Yes.
Sexy, and I know it. I know Elizabeth over here fucking missed out on the opportunity. She missed the memo. She missed the memo. It's all good. We got Jeffrey Wiener in the house.
Blame it on Jordan.
Yes, we got Josh Castro saying hi, guys. We got Johnny Sanchez saying happy Friday. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Hi, Elizabeth. We got some Elizabeth fans going on. We got Heels in the room. Afternoon fan from Chris Underwood. Hey, guys, thank you for joining us. We got RJ Bates, man. Yes, wow. Big shout out to RJ. Big shout out to the Propelio family. Big shout out to the Kingdom family, which RJ is a part of both. I know that. So we met you initially, all right? We came across you, and you came across us through the Propelio show.
Absolutely.
We were in Dallas, and through networking, guys. What the fuck? Networking. Through networking, we ended up in the Propelio show. We ended up in the studio. We recorded a show. Now you have a show with the Propelio channel also, right?
I do. So I used to be with the Iron Heels show, and that show is no longer on air.
Motherfucker, I was just sharing everything.
I know you were. It's okay. It's okay. But something amazing happened. So we started Iron Heels in October. It was 13 of us, mostly the ladies from Dallas. The group was mainly composed of ladies from Dallas, but I was from, the one from Houston, and then we have two from San Antonio. So what Ryan and Propelio ended up doing is they give us all a show. So I have my own show now, the Business and Life Mastery Show with Debbie and Elizabeth. It comes on every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Central Time. So it would be 1 o'clock Arizona time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, and just so you guys know, in Arizona, we have our own fucking time.
You do.
So
yes.
we don't fucking fall into anybody else's time zone, meaning that we don't adhere to daylight savings times. So sometimes we'll be an hour before you, sometimes we'll be 2 hours before you. Fuck do we know. So anyway, guys, that's how we met, through networking. And through networking, through the Propelio show, we kind of came across each other. That's where we met a lot of awesome people over here, including RJ Bates saying, "What's up?" Some of my favorite people. RJ also has a show on the Propelio show. I was actually on RJ's podcast, and we need to have RJ on the show. So RJ, we're going to get a hold of you to get you over here on our show. We got Daniel in the house. We got Maggie saying, "Hola, Liz."
Hi, Maggie. Oh my gosh, I've known Maggie since way back when from youth group in church, like, oh my gosh, maybe 20 years or more. Yeah, 20. So I'm not going to reveal my age, but over 20 years is what I'll say.
And that's all good, guys. And that's the thing with the AZ Flip, guys, especially when you're joining us live. And this is what I was saying. If you guys are catching us on a replay, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure that you join us live, because live you can actually interact with us. You can ask questions, you can talk shit, you can come in and share your opinions, your comments about different things. But more than anything, you can ask questions from us, Cashflow Kris, Cashflow Creator, and our special guest, whoever that happens to be this particular week.
People don't talk shit enough. What's up, guys?
Yeah, I know.
You got.
Yes, and guys, if you guys are watching us on a watch party, make sure that you drop your questions on the watch party. So we're not going to be able to see you here on our main screen, but we will see you on the watch party. So we are hosting a watch party right here. So Elizabeth, why don't you tell everybody who you are? So for somebody who hasn't heard about you, somebody who doesn't know anything about you, why don't you let people know who you are?
Absolutely. Yes. Again, I'm so thankful. Thank you guys for having me in. I'm so excited. Now that I'm here in Phoenix visiting, this is the perfect opportunity to be here. I'm from Houston, and my name is Elizabeth Navarrete with Houston REI Network. I have my own company. I'm a real estate agent, but not just that. I'm actually a real estate investor full time. I don't dedicate my time to retail real estate anymore. So it's mainly wholesaling, flipping. We do a lot of flipping. And throughout the years, I've been able to reinvent myself. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today, too, because we have a lot of folks out there that are watching us that are in their JOB and they hate their JOB. They want to get out. I come across a lot of people in corporate America that want to get out. And that's what we're here to do. We help them.
Awesome.
We help them. We teach them the ropes, how to get it into the business, how to do the marketing for the business, or if they only want to flip, if they only want to do private money, if they only want to lend, we'll help them with it. That's the whole point of Houston REI Network. We are investors, a network of investors for investors. So anything you need, if you need a list of leads to cold call, if you need somebody to cold call for you, if you need us to give you an estimate on your rehab, we'll do that. If you need me to list your rehab and give you ideas on what to do there, we can help you with that. Anything and everything from A to Z when it comes to real estate investing, that's what we do.
That is awesome, awesome, awesome. So Kris, you ask and you shall receive. Brayand Laverty says, burn that Niners hat.
Never. He's a Chicago guy. Get out of here.
We got Sonia Ray saying, we don't change no freaking clocks. Hell no. We don't do that at all. So, guys, here's the great thing about the AZ Flip, guys, as I said, is you are able to ask questions. Throughout the show, we'll be talking about certain topics. As she said, she mentioned a little bit about who she is, what her company does, but we'll be able to get into a few specific topics. And I know that one of the things that we are talking about today is just getting through the ups and downs of real estate. Right. So you've been in real estate for how many years now?
Lots of years. Since 2003. I became licensed in November of 2003.
Wow.
So that's a long time. I'm a dinosaur, really.
Nice. You got me beat by 1 year.
Oh, really?
I got my license in 04.
In 04. Yeah. So, yeah, November of 2003, I became licensed. Prior to that, I was a social worker. I was working at a school as a school counselor. And I just was really tired of the pay, really. I loved what I was doing. You look
like a school counselor.
Really?
Actually, yeah, you look like you would be working as a school counselor.
Trust me, I'm still doing counseling. I counsel myself. I counsel my team. I counsel my colleagues. I counsel my clients.
Well, at least the kids listen, though. Like these adults, man, they got thick skulls.
And this is the great thing about real estate is that, or just entrepreneurship in general, is you can take the skills that you have developed, whether it be through corporate America, whether it be through the educational system, whether it be through just working at a fucking McDonald's.
Yes.
Like you can take those same skill sets. And I've always talked about it. You know, you're Latino, I'm Latino. Yes. Kris is half Latino.
Ontiveros kind of gave me that. Gave me that.
But man, if you see him dance, I mean, it's like a
since when can Mexicans dance? I don't know about that one. They tried.
JD has actually. JD can attest to.
They tried. My parents tried so hard. They tried to get me into the ballet, the Florico.
Really?
Yeah, fuck no way I was gonna dress up like that.
I don't see you dancing around a hat
the
or
knives.
anything like that. Yeah.
Now, here's what I say.
Hilarious.
If you, because of our culture, we see this, it's prevalent in our culture.
Yeah.
If you know how to run a gang, if you know how to sell drugs, if you know how to pimp out women, if you know how to break into fucking houses and not get caught, if you know how to evade the cops forever, you have the skills to start a business.
Yeah,
you're just focusing those skills in something different.
Right.
So you
Absolutely.
were a school counselor and you just kind of got fed up with it, which most times happens with people in a 9 to 5.
Absolutely. But see, the thing is that I wasn't doing 9 to 5. It was more like from 7 a.m. till about 9 p.m. Because it's social work. Social work, it's never, you're never off. You're always on. You're either on call, or I would stick around at the school, talk to the parents, because we would do after school meetups with the parents. And I was tired mainly, and I will be very honest, and I've said this several times before, the pay. Because my whole goal is I realized at an early age, I liked to help people. Mm-hmm. And you know how a lot of people say, well, my why is to help people in this industry? Come on, let's get real. Yes, we're helping people, really helping ourselves. We're making money. So the thing is that I was making $26,000 a year as a social worker. I wasn't loving the pay. I was loving my work, but I was really tired. I was burnt out. So when I decided to make that transition into real estate, it's like the skill set, like you said, the skill set worked perfectly. You have to be an active listener, come up with solutions, be resourceful, solve problems. All of that skill set was able to transfer perfectly into real estate. My biggest fear was the fact that I didn't sell anything. I've never sold anything other than lemonade. When I was like, maybe in the summertime when I was little, I would set up my little table, make popsicles and lemonade. That was my only entrepreneur experience prior to getting into real estate. So yeah, so I've been reinventing myself all my life. And
you're supposed to. Now, here's the thing is that very few people know this, but I wanted to be a school teacher growing up. I was always really good with kids. Ever since I was a little kid, I was always like in my church. I always volunteered to help the kids and the babies and everything. I've just always been really, really good with kids. Somebody told me, hey man, before you go to school for being a teacher, why don't you go work as a teacher's assistant just to see if you're going to like it or not. Best advice ever. Holy fuck, man. I saw how fucking miserable these teachers were. And I saw like the only teachers that were happy were kindergarten to like second grade teachers. And normally those teachers were like the young 22, 25-year-old chicks. They just graduated. Oh my God, everything's going to be amazing. I'm going to change the fucking world. But once you got past like 5 years of teaching, you started seeing this. And the thing that bothered me the most is that these teachers fucking hated the kids. There was a really deep disdain for children, and they're the ones teaching kids, which made no fucking sense to me. Right. Until I started noticing how much they got paid. So one of the things that I did is that I eventually went from regular class to a special education. Because I just didn't like the way that things happen in a regular school. So I did special education. Miss Sylvester was her name, and I will always remember her. She had a master's degree in special education. It happened to be Dr. Seuss's birthday, and she had a little costume that she always wore for Dr. Seuss. This year, she was feeling sick, and she couldn't do it or whatever. So I volunteered, said, I'll fucking do it. And basically, I dressed up as Cat in the Hat, and I went from room to room reading the Dr. Seuss stories, right? It was like a Dr. Seuss birthday thing. Right. So at the end of the day, I showed up late to her class. All the kids had gone because special education kids normally get out before everybody else, right? So I show up, and Miss Sylvester's sitting there, and she's selling me Pampered Chef. And I don't know if you know Pampered Chef, but it's like an Avon type of thing for. So I'm like, Miss Sylvester, you have a master's degree in special education. Why are you selling me Pampered Chef? And she's like, oh, honey, let me tell you how it is, right? And then she told me something. She said her brother had a GED, worked for the post office, and made more money than she did with a fucking master's degree. Yeah. So that at that point, I realized that, I do want to help out children, but not that way. There's got to be a better way. And I know that because of the decisions that I made to get into real estate and entrepreneurship, I've been able to help a lot more children with my nonprofit than I would have ever been able to help through the school system. Right. More than likely, I would have ended up like one of those bitter ass teachers that I saw everywhere. So.
Oh yeah, and not just the teachers, the administrators, and that's where my conflict was, because I was having a lot of difficulty with administrators, teachers and administrators, a lot of red tape. Just, it was frustrating. I wanted to do something and I would get the no, I'd get pushback, pushover. And it just, I was done. I really was done. I loved working with the kids, but it just, up to a certain point, there was more dealing with all the politics working in a school.
It was.
And other than what I was really enjoying doing.
It was a drama factor, to say the least.
Not that real estate is not.
No. Of course.
Right? I mean, we got to be honest about that.
I mean, I have faced very little tiny drama in real estate compared to what I did in 1 year. So out of my 12, 13 years in real estate, I have very minimal drama compared to my 1 year in the educational system. And I said, fuck that. Right. So we got William Bonnell saying, badass Brian, bringing the fire as always. I appreciate you. We got Sammy Prieto saying Elizabeth rocks. We agree over here.
Thank you, Sammy.
We got Daniel saying, hey, teacher, leave those kids alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
World has to know that song.
You know what?
Yes.
It was one of these things where the teachers ended up having a disdain for kids, and a lot of it had to do because of the administration. A lot of it had to do because of the rules. A lot of it had to do because if you had a bad kid, you say, hey, you're not going to pass. The mom could literally come in and sign some paperwork and say he's going to pass, and the kid would just look at you like, fuck you, motherfucker. The fuck are you going to do? Like, that is the reality. I mean, you can't continue doing that. A lot of people that get into the medical field, a lot of people that get into the healthcare industry, a lot of people that get into education, childcare, public service, a lot of times they do that because they have a vision as to what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times the system itself breaks them down and says, I know you want to help the world, but that's not the way it is. Get your fucking dream somewhere else. Right. So a lot of times people are looking for a way out. And for us, it had been real estate, right? For us, it has been real estate. So actually, speaking of that, we got Greg Cook saying networking, it works. Oh, yes. We all know that here. We got Nadine saying, hello, friends. We got Dan C in the house,
What's
man.
Up,
Speaking of Masters, he's here. We got Randy Matthews says, what's good? What's today's topic? Well, today's topic is weathering the storm. You know, so right now we're asking Elizabeth about how she got into real estate, why she got into real estate. And she was sharing with us how she was working as an administrator for the education system, and she was just kind of getting burned out.
Yes.
You know, you were doing it because you loved it. You loved what you were doing, but it wasn't rewarding financially. Plus, it came with an additional set of headaches and strains.
Absolutely.
And as you mentioned, you weren't even working a 9 to 5. You were working like 7 to 9 or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah, long hours. And so when I decided to get into real estate, I did it with fear. And I've said this before. It's like, I just jumped in. I didn't wait till the perfect time. I didn't wait till I felt like I was ready. Because if you wait until you're ready, you're never going to be ready.
Nope.
You're never, ever, ever going to be
ready.
So
I use the example Double Dutch. You've seen Double Dutch.
Yes.
You're in fucking Houston. Of course you've seen Double Dutch.
Right.
So anyway, Double Dutch, for you guys don't know, and I explained it last week, is when you take 2 jar ropes and you go back and forth. Now, the reason why I use that is the person looking to jump into the Double Dutch, they start kind of doing this shit right here,
absolutely.
Right? So they're kind of waiting for the perfect time to jump in.
Right.
Well, you've seen it as well as I've seen it. There's people that just never jump in. They just sit here, not only metaphorically, but in real life and Double Dutch. Now, I was one of those people because I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to get my feet tangled up and fall in front of my friends. Fuck that. I'm going to just get out the way. Hell no. Hell no. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. All right, come on. This time. All right, next time. All right, next time. Nope. And I just never did it. I never fucking did it. So a lot of times people do that in life. I always say that you get what you accept in life. And for all you motherfuckers out there bitching and complaining about your fucking job, for all you motherfuckers out there bitching and complaining about your relationship, for all you motherfuckers out there complaining about your friendships and your situations, if you don't do nothing about it, you are telling the universe that this is what I accept.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times people, you know how many people, I'm sure they come up to you all the time. Hey, I've been thinking about doing real estate for a while.
Yes.
I've been wanting to get into real estate for a while.
Yes.
And even within real estate, because you said you got your license, now you're an investor.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that get their license and never get past getting a license.
Right.
And then they say, well, I've been wanting to deal with investors. I've been wanting to get into invest. And you're like, dude, you have all the same tools that I have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that, it's that fear thing again. A lot of people have the fear or the analysis paralysis, or they want the perfect business card, the perfect business name, and all this stuff. It's like, you realize you can start doing this. Forget about it. Get a DBA. If you can't figure out the right LLC name, just get yourself a DBA or put it in your name. I don't recommend you doing that.
Start any
you're starting,
LLC.
Just start. Just do it. Connect with and when you go to networking, what we were talking about earlier, network with intention. I think that's key, because if you go to a networking event, I do this sometimes where I go and I talk with the people that I know for a little bit and hang out, especially if, you know, you're having drinks and whatnot. You're just talking shop, right? But I think that if you're starting and you need to connect with the right people, just go and introduce yourself. Say what you want to do. Make it in your mind an intention that you're going to meet one wholesaler, one flipper, one person in the title industry. Title companies can be super helpful. It's amazing what a title company can do.
Ridiculously helpful.
Yes, especially if they're investor friendly. They can actually give you a document to oh my gosh, I forgot the word now. When you are assigned an assignment contract, they'll give you a form. They'll give you a form for a memorandum. Anything you need, they're helpful.
My title agent does everything for me. She knows that I am extremely lazy, and she also knows that if I try to do this shit myself, she's gonna have to fix it anyway.
Right.
So I'm just like, hey, Noemi, can you write this assignment contract? Here's the buyer's information. Here's what they want. And by the way, when you're done, can you just email that shit to the buyers? And they will gladly do it. They're guys, we say this all the time, that there's people that love doing the shit that you are not good at, or the shit that you hate doing.
Absolutely.
And when you are networking, you want to make sure you network with intention. Talking about networking with intention, we got our boy Dan Satoski here in the house. Big shout out to Dan. He took an hour of his time yesterday, and we talked over. I met him at a networking event.
Yes.
We met him at a networking event called Secret Knock. We connected with him, and then we intentionally followed up with him. I met him. I said, hey, man, I really like what you're doing. I'm going to be moving into the same field, which is creating passive income for individuals, creating cash flow. Let's meet up at the next event, which we did. We met up. Me and Kris intentionally set time with him, and we met him during lunch. Right. Now, I was just at an event last week in Miami, and he happens to be over there. So we start talking, and we find out, I find out that he's dealing with an issue that I feel that I'm very good at. And I'm dealing with an issue that he feels he's really good at. So we were able to connect, but it was connecting with intention. Now, even though I knew Dan and I didn't know most other people in the room, yes, I did talk to Dan for a bit, but I didn't spend the whole time hanging out with him. He intentionally went to meet other people. I intentionally went to meet other people. And I'm sure that he's going to get a lot of value from a lot of those people in the room. Absolutely. So anyway, he's saying here, what's up, my friends? Great interview. Much appreciated. Dan, we're going to have you soon. And by the way, I got your email. I'm going to send you my bio. So I'm going to be doing for you guys that are not following Dan Satoski, make sure that you are. We're going to be doing a Mindset Monday. This Monday, he's going to have your boy BP, a.k.a. Cash Flow Creator, dropping some of that straight fucking fire, straight about mindset. And guys, speaking of that, if you guys have not joined the Kingdom Real Estate, make sure that you do. I'm going to put in my affiliate link because we just officially joined as affiliates. I just dropped my second Mindset Monday on there, and it was just straight fucking fire. I got into programming, how you're programming, what happens, who programs you, and more importantly, how do you reprogram yourself? An hour and a half of just straight fucking fire. So anyway, guys, if you guys don't follow Dan Satoski, make sure that you do. Make sure that you ask him for information about his group, because this Monday I'm going to be going in. Oh my Lord! So we got
our guy Ryan Harper all the way from New York City.
New York City.
Gosh, hey Ryan!
Fucking big timing us over there.
And you know what he's doing in New York? I have to say because this is amazing.
I thought he went to go eat.
So no, actually, he is talking about networking with intention. He jumped on an opportunity, and a couple of us are part of this. We're part of the Zuckerberg Institute. So Randy Zuckerberg has started something where we're doing mentorship classes. It's like a Zoom call that we participate in, and it's called, the one that I'm a part of is called #Business Class through the Zuckerberg Institute. And Ryan is on another level higher. I don't remember. I think it's called First Class that he's in. But anyhow, so he's going over there and talking about branding, how to brand yourself with the Zuckerberg family, which is a pretty amazing. It's a really awesome opportunity. And we've connected with really, really amazing entrepreneurs all over the country.
And guys, it's all about networking with intention.
Yes.
So we say this all the time. So speaking of Ryan, and I'm fucking talk a little shit about Ryan here.
Good stuff. Only good stuff. Only love, Ryan. We love you, Ryan.
But we were in the Propel Hill show.
Yes.
So he never really met us. He never watched our show or anything. Okay. So he's like, all right, guys, so it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. Why don't you tell us your secrets? Like, how do you guys get your deals? I'm like, it's networking. Yeah, I know, but everybody says networking, but like for reals. And I'm like, it's networking. No, but for reals, guy, like, where do you guys get all your deals? Like, fucking networking. Where do you guys get your private money from? Fucking networking. And it's all networking with intention, right?
Yes,
networking with intention. And actually, one of the guys who's watching us right now, Mr. Greg Cook, he came across this concept through the show, and he has just taken off with that and just networked like crazy. So anyway, if you guys have any deals in Central Florida, if you guys are in the Central Florida area, if you guys are looking to do multifamily, he's got multifamily leads. He's got mobile home park leads. He's got all kinds of networking down in Central Florida, Orlando area. Make sure you hit up Mr. Greg Cook over here. So we got,
Yelitza Mora. She's from Dallas. She's doing really great in Dallas. She's flipping homes. Yeah, she does rehabbing. Yeah, she's doing fantastic too. Hey, Yelitza, thank you for tuning in.
So we got David Sandoval here saying no IG live. Actually, we are on IG
live.
On
IG live.
Now we got my tío Giovanni watching from Guatemala. We got David Sandoval, family. Awesome. We got Ryan Harper saying he's loved the shirts. Take imperfect action. Oh my God, Yelitza,
I love that one.
Yelitza, yes. So anyway, guys, please make sure that you bring your questions.
Yeah, guys, every week you guys wait till the very end. You have a real estate expert here. She's got a different perspective. She's from another state. Bring her your questions. I think JD brought us our
you're talking about almost 20 years experience here with just one person. And we do have questions. So I'm about to get to JD's question. Before we get there, Sammy Prieto says, don't wait, educate yourself, then take action. You know what? Just take action. Take action. That's what Yelitza was saying here. Take imperfect action.
You have to. You will learn in the process, and that's the best way of learning. Yes, I do think you should connect with somebody. If you're new, connect with somebody that's been in the industry for a long time or some time, that has experience, and that you vetted them, obviously, too. With me, for example, you said it earlier. How many people come up to you and say, I want to get into business, and I get a lot of invites to go have coffee and go have lunch. And I just can't do that anymore because I'm super, super busy. Either I'm always going to be having lunch and coffee and I'm not going to work. So what I do is I do telephone consultation. It's like, you know what? My time will be so, you could take advantage of my time in a better way on a phone and a phone call than, us driving to meet, especially in Houston being such a huge city. And if I have to travel to Dallas or San Antonio, let's just spend the time on the phone. Let's do 15 minutes, 30 minutes. You'll get much more out of me in that time than if we meet up for coffee, because interruptions happen all the time, right? So I block off that time. And what I do, I come across is a lot of people that say that they don't have the money. And that's usually the case. Well, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. That's not an excuse. I will give you a list that I've pulled, one of my lead lists that I've pulled. We do a lot of tax delinquency in Texas. And we were talking with Steve Trang this week and Sonia earlier this week too, that here it's different, right? That you guys all kind of work with different type of leads. Yes. Not so much tax delinquency. It's not
that big.
So in Texas, tax delinquency is huge. That's our main bread and butter there.
Time out, guys. Guys, this is why you go contact the local expert. Most people's questions all the time is, how do I get started? Find somebody in your area who's actively doing it and ask them. Because she just put out a great point. What works out in Houston does not work in Phoenix, and vice versa. We might be like, hey, probate leads are the shit. And you might be like, probate leads are so dried up over there. They're horrible. Right. So anyway, you were talking about your leads that you were doing.
So what I do is we have our list. We'll capture a couple. We'll set aside a couple for people that are new that come to me and say, I don't have a way of starting. I don't have any resources. Okay, so let's do this. I'll give you a list. Cold call it. This is what you need to do. We've already skip traced that list. So you're getting phone numbers. We're handing you money pretty much on the table, right? All you have to do is, if you're hungry and you have the drive, you're going to be okay. That's what you need. That your mindset is key, because if your mind is not there, you're not going to make it.
And
like
you said the best thing, like, it's not that you have lack of money, it's you have lack of mindset.
Absolutely.
You're
right.
selling yourself short based on the bullshit story that you've been fucking telling yourself for God knows how many single years.
Absolutely.
It's not that, because what happens is that you can give these people that list, they're going to give you another fucking excuse. It's just
and
their
it happens,
mindset.
and they weed themselves out.
Exactly.
When they come back and say, well, nothing happened. What did you do? Well, I mailed, or I called and I didn't get any leads. Then there's nothing I can help you. I gave you something of value that cost me money and time. I'm sharing it with you. If you can't do anything with that, then I mean, I can't get into your head and make it operate, or get into your arms and get you on your legs and moving. You have to do that for yourself.
Kris, Cashflow Kris and myself know a guy that we say about him, this motherfucker has a problem for every solution. Absolutely. Every time you give him a solution, yeah, but what about this? Well, here's how you help that. Well, yeah, but what about motherfucker? This motherfucker has a problem for every solution. Right. You want to be the person that has a solution for every problem. Right. We got Leah Tallow here watching in the freaking watch party saying there's ups and downs. Of course, you know this better than anybody else. You and your fucking gray hairs out there. We love you, Leah. Hey, we need to hang out. I haven't seen you and your husband in forever. So we got a question here rolling in. JD, the intern, leading by example. And this goes something into what you were saying. What is it about real estate that kept you going and not returning to work in education? Now, before you answer that, I just want to say a lot of times people make the leap, make the jump. I want to work for myself. I want to get into this industry. And in this case, we'll use real estate because people love that shit, right? I want to get into real estate. They come in there. It's not as easy, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So there's obviously struggles. We're talking today about the ups and downs of the business. What was it about real estate that kept you in the business and not just easily going back to what you could go back to?
You know, I have to give credit where credit is due. And my partner, my life partner, we also do business together. He really pushed me because he came from an entrepreneur mindset way before I did. He was in mortgages. Oh my God. He was in mortgages in 2001. And I got into real estate in 2003. He was the one that pushed me and said, you know what? You're tired. You're not making money. Get into real estate. And once we got into real estate and I was doing retail sales, we went through the recession together. Mm-hmm. We started feeling it in 2007. He was doing a lot of refinancing in Illinois. So our office in Chicago was booming, making tons of money. Texas, not so much, because we have that cap rate where you can only refi up to 80%. I don't know how it is here in Arizona, but the values of the houses in Texas were very conservative. They only went up 2-3%. Yeah, versus Illinois, right? So is that the case
here? Fuck no. Here they were going up like fucking crazy. It was like 5% a month. And
so Chicago was like up 7%. It was just ridiculous. So he kept doing refis and refis and refis. And so that was our cash cow right there. Illinois. The office in Chicago and Houston, we really weren't paying too much attention to, because he was like, I really don't see the movement in Houston. I don't really see that people really can't refinance frequently. It has to be like every 3-4 years. So when the recession happened, our cash cow completely dried out, and it happened overnight. So what has kept us from going back to work is the fact that there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. And we fumbled. We pretty much stumbled into. Hold on. Yes. Time the fuck out, guys. All right, guys. Cyrus, this is where you're going to fucking make a point right over here, all right? So, guys, get yourself somebody that supports what the fuck you do, okay? One of the biggest challenges that I see with people all the time is that their husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend is not in the same fucking boat. Yes. I was at this mastermind meeting last week, and this guy doing a lot of deals. He was an attorney himself. His girlfriend works a regular job, and she's like, your job is not that hard. Like, my job is really hard. My job is really hard. And you're exactly like, when we know, we just want to roll our fucking eyes like, God damn it. He can't, because that's his fucking wife. He can't be like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, the level of responsibility that you have is nothing compared to the level of responsibility that we have. Right. So, guys, when you are out there looking for a significant other, or if you have a significant other and you're looking to do something like this,
make sure that they're on board, and if not, get rid of their fucking ass.
I know we're gonna motivate everybody to give the boot to those
because here's the thing: is you're gonna do yourself a disservice, and you're gonna do them a disservice, and all you're doing is kicking the fucking can down the line, so where it's gonna turn into some big old fucking argument. Because if that person doesn't see the shit that you see, this is why it's very important. Even if your spouse is not in the business, at least to understand, hey, baby, why don't you come with me to this, find out this a little bit more. Even if you're not interested, at least you understand how it works. Absolutely. And when you go, like, everything is cool when people are making money. Like, everything's, your spouse loves you when you're fucking making money.
It's about when you're not. And it's about, and that's where, so I told this to Ryan. Ryan interviewed me a year ago when I was on Propelio. He asked me, so what did you do after the recession? And I was like, he's like, that's so corny. And it sounds corny, and I'm going to say it. So what happened was that we lived an excessive lifestyle prior to 2008. We had the houses and all that. We were so retarded with money. We were very irresponsible and spending money because we were making so much money, right?
Well, that was the market. 06, 07, especially you guys were doing loans. Oh my God, it was so easy to make money. And then it stopped like that.
Right. And we were not prepared for that halt. We really weren't. So we had to start selling off houses and cars before we went into repossession and foreclosure, because we were on the brink of that. And I was very adamant, not so much Nelson, but I was very adamant that I was like, I don't want to get rid of my house. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to make a payment on this house, even though we were behind in taxes. We owed like 2 months of mortgage. I mean, we were really behind. We had never been like that in all those years. And all of a sudden we were finding ourselves in a situation where we were literally underwater. And so what happened there, what we did was we held on to each other really, really tight. And we realized that we can let go of a house. We can sell a house. We can sell the cars. We can sell the stuff that we have. That's just stuff. But as long as we had each other and we were going to, push each other and make it through, we were going to be okay. And here we are 10 years later.
Well, and
we're stronger than ever.
So the answer to JD's question, one of the ways that you guys got there was because your partner was very supportive. Very, very supportive in what it is that you do. Now, if you take that same situation, but let's say that he wasn't in the mortgage business, you were, he never really was such a big fan of your entrepreneurship, right? He's probably not going to say shit while you're making a bunch of money. Come 2008, all of a sudden now he's going to be like, oh,
absolutely.
Well, let me do blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
So you have a hard time already in your business, and then you're adding additional bullshit on top of that because people are no longer supporting you. Right. Now, once again, guys, this is my opinion, my point of view. We have somebody here in our watch party who disagrees. He says if you can solve real estate problems, you can solve your relationship issues. Hitting the eject button shows a lack of perspective and creativity. Well, I disagree with you.
Who has their own show right here.
And it's not even about that. Here's the thing, guys. Everybody's perspective is different, right? Everybody's situation is different.
And you know what? And it's based on experience. And it's based on experience. Look, if you have a partner, what's the gentleman? Well, anyways, the person that chimed in, I have to respectfully disagree with you, but my life experience was different, and I'm sharing based on my experience. It's helped. I think that if my partner wouldn't have supported me, I wouldn't even be here. I would have gone back to a job. I would have gone back and gotten a master's degree and just gone through this whole. And
everybody's different. Here's the thing: if you have a spouse that doesn't support you, it just makes it harder. It doesn't make it impossible. Right. I say this shit all the time. If you have kids, it doesn't make this business impossible. Right. It just makes it harder. If you don't come from money, if you don't have access to money, if you grew up with a poor mindset, it doesn't make this business impossible. No. It just makes it that much harder. So one of the things that helped you personally when you got the struggle, because I was in the business, I started at the end of 06.
Okay.
And we were doing pre-foreclosures. So I went from making money to not making money fairly quickly because my personal shit started sinking right at the end of 2007.
Okay.
So because we were doing pre-foreclosures, it was a little bit before the market kind of started tipping, right? Nonetheless, though, I didn't really have the support from anybody, like friends or family members or anybody out there to help me pursue. A lot of it had to depend on myself. Right. And you know, I'm unlike most people out there where I have such a big drive internally that I can push myself there. However, when you are surrounded by people, so you may not be in a relationship, but one of the things that can help you stay the course is being surrounded by people that are in the industry.
Absolutely.
You know, birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
And one of the amazing things that happened is right at 2008, the market started tanking. Right in 2009, it went completely dead, right?
Yes.
I jumped back into the market in 2009, and everybody thought I was fucking crazy because I had just lost my ass at the end of 2007, right?
Right. Because we felt it in 2007, right? Everybody talks about the 2008 recession, but really, we really felt it in 2007. That's really when it happened. It didn't really come out to light because even the news, everything was like, oh, everything's fine, and things were not fine. People were starting to feel that the 3-year arm was up, and so now interest rates were going up. The tax rate was going up.
And that's only if people understood what a 3-year arm meant.
Right. Exactly.
My parents got a big old fucking house that they did not understand. They could barely make the pre-adjustment payments.
Yes.
They didn't even understand. They were like, what the fuck is going on? Why are my payments going up?
And there was a lender, and I'm sure you're familiar. There was a lender that let you have a pick your payments plan. Do you remember this?
Was it like a Countrywide or something like that?
No, Countrywide. Remember no credit check, no appraisal
the
fee.
Nina,
the Ninja
no
loan,
income. You don't got to make money.
The
you don't
Ninja loans. But you had this lender that had a pick your payment plan. You could pay just your principal and interest, or you could just pay your interest payment. Imagine all those people. I mean, and it was back then. It was brilliant, but imagine when 2007, 2008 happened. And then 9 and 10, that's when it just completely tanked. People were like running, trying to get out of their houses, and the rental market completely went up. I mean, it just completely went crazy.
Of course, and I mean, you had a bunch of people who couldn't own houses anymore. So if you own a house, you're more than likely going to try to rent a house. If you once rented a house and that shit's going up and you can't afford it, now you have to go rent an apartment. And if you're renting an apartment and that shit was up, now you're gonna go rent a fucking trailer home somewhere.
Exactly. So a lot of colleagues from then, they just went back to work, and we were like, no, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. We're gonna figure it out.
I went back to work at that point because I had kids.
Okay.
So I needed to find a way to continue making money, but I did that shit for 1 year and I said, fuck this.
Right? It's like
never
no way.
What I tell people all the time, look, and you're going to understand this because you're a female, right?
Okay.
It's going to be a little crude, but you're going to understand this. As a female, I think it was Chris Rock who made the initial joke where I got the idea. But females don't fuck down. And what that means is the first time that you had sex with somebody, you probably had sex in your house or their house, their mama's house, your mama's house, their bedroom, whatever, right? Then eventually you met a guy who had roommates. He didn't live in his mama's house anymore. It was very unlikely that after you got to that guy, you were going to be with the guy who had mama's. Then you went to a guy who had his own house, his own apartment, right? And then a guy who had his own house. Now you're dating a guy with his own house. Very, very, very unlikely that you're going to end up with the guy who sleeps at his mama's house.
Right.
You're always moving up, right? You never can move down. So in business and in life, once you see better, it's very hard to go back. That 1 year of being in corporate America was the longest, most drawn out, most fucking painful experience of my life because I knew that there was a better way. I knew that I can actually make money that way. I knew that I had made so much more money doing that other shit than doing this shit.
Right.
And I have to sit here and like smile and like pretend and be part of the team and shit. And I'm like, fuck, I want to fucking kill myself.
You know, it's so funny you mentioned this because there was at some point, I think it was 2014 or 15, Nelson was like, hey, why don't we also look into opening our insurance office? So I decided to go. I went and got a job at an insurance office just to learn how the movement was. I hated it. I literally got fired from that job. I was sucked because in my life, I had never had to clock in other than when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese when I was in high school. And I never had to clock in after that. So now after doing all this, being in real estate for so many years and going into an insurance office and having to clock in, I was miserable. It was horrible. I hated it. I'm like, I didn't even care to learn. I mean, I stuck around maybe a couple months, but I hated it. I sucked. I really sucked at it.
When I decided to leave my job in 2008, 2009, I put it out there. My manager had lost his ass in 2007 whatever, right?
Okay.
So he was very like, oh, you're fucking crazy. You're going to get into real estate. This is the worst time to get into real estate. Like, you must be insane. Whatever. I decided to get out and leave.
Right.
I noticed that I didn't want to be like them. That
Mm-hmm.
everybody who had been working there for a long time was miserable. They all wanted to do something different. And they all had the what if. They all had the, you know, maybe at some point I could have been, but
Right.
that time has passed. So now I just got to
Yes.
bite the bullet and be where I'm at. So I went back into doing 2009. I went back into real estate, and my plan did not work out at all.
What did you do? I'm curious.
Well, so initially I thought I was going to be a realtor in
Okay.
2009. I was going to work with
Okay.
REOs. I met a
Okay.
broker who says, go get your license. I went to go get my license. I took my test. I quit my fucking job.
Uh-huh.
I called him the day that like I'm about to take my test for the license. This number is no longer connected. I had already quit my job.
Oh,
So at that point, I met a guy who was doing loan modifications
okay.
and short sales.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'm familiar with short sales. I know how to talk to people.
Right.
Let's go do these loan mods.
Right.
We started putting together, we teamed up with a different company out of Florida who was supposed to be Better Business Bureau and all these other
Okay.
things. Turns out that these motherfuckers were literally taking money. It was a small operation. They bottlenecked. They couldn't take as many leads as they were pointing. So we're out here selling these things. We're getting people to be like, yeah, give me a few $1,000s. We can do a loan modification.
Right.
And the company that we turn around to do this shit, which was supposedly approved by the government to be one of the official loan modification companies, couldn't handle it. So
Right.
now I must just creep without a paddle. I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm refusing to go back to work. Like, I'm just not going to go back to work.
Right.
My brother was like, fuck it, we need to pay rent. I know this temp job where we can go do some warehouse work. Now, he had already done warehouse work before. I had never done warehouse work ever, and I will never do it again after this experience. I'm literally clocking in like the fucking Flintstones.
I'm telling you.
Clocking in.
Yes.
Clocking out.
For the birds. Sorry.
Yeah,
No,
30-minute lunch. This
Yeah.
little fucking thing. Anyway, man, I was bored out of my ass. I had to take this piece of foam, stick it in this machine, push a button, wait for the fucking machine again, push it right here. Then go back and do this over and over and over.
All day.
I was horrible. I couldn't. I was
bet.
horrible. I did it for about a week, and I was like, "Fuck this shit." We went to go pick up the check at the office, and the lady told my brother, "Oh, you know what? You're an awesome factory worker. Like, you're an awesome factory." She looked at you. She's like, "You're a horrible factory worker." And I said, "Yes, thank you. I understand that." I grabbed my check, and I never fucking came back to that place ever again, because once you know better,
killing your spirit by doing that.
I felt like a fucking monkey. Like, I felt like you can hire a fucking monkey to do this shit.
Yeah.
To me, part of the real estate and the allure of real estate is the fact that we get to use our creativity. We get to solve people's problems. We're not just a fucking robot that's just like,
Right.
When I went to school in high school, I didn't take electives. I took my culinary classes.
Okay.
And I actually thought about going to get my chef degree in a cordon bleu school.
Okay.
One of the things that they used to say all the time is, well, you can't automate cooking. You can't automate cooking. They're always going to need somebody to cook. Well, guess what the fuck I just saw on Facebook? Some fucking robot with 2 hands that measures, cooks, and does all this shit. Automates your fucking cooking. Guys, there is no guarantee there. So the great thing about real estate and entrepreneurship is that it allows you to build. So we got a few questions here. We asked for questions. We got questions. We got China Jackson saying, I want to flip homes, just don't know where to begin in Georgia.
I think you should look for meetup groups, look on Eventbrite, look on Facebook, look for groups in your area of people that are doing this already. Flipping in Georgia, house flippers in Georgia. Just look for those groups, attend, and again, I truly believe in the power of networking because that's the place you're going to meet person to person, and also on meeting people virtually via Facebook. That's great too. I made a lot of contacts via Facebook, and
oh my God, I was making money on Facebook before making money on Facebook was a thing. Before people realized that you can run a business on Facebook, I realized the power of personal branding. And I also realized that if I wanted to get with you, like on business wise, and this was back in the early 90s, I would have to call your office, get your assistant, set up a meeting, all this shit. Maybe I got your phone number. Maybe you got me an email address. You may or may not respond to me, whatever. I found out that on Facebook, I could fucking message a motherfucker directly. You don't have to worry about his assistant or nothing. And I could see if they read my message.
That's right. Exactly. Isn't that great? You can't hide from that at all.
No, you cannot. So it was a door opener. And yes, networking, face-to-face networking, in my opinion, is the number one.
Absolutely.
And actually, China over here was asking, and it was literally right before that, how do I begin to investing and how do I go finding funding to start? Networking. Find groups in your area. Find people in your area. Find Facebook groups in your area, in your state, saying, hey, guys, this is where I am. One of the great things that happens with networking is that your downfall is going to be somebody else's strength, and somebody else's strength is going to be, or your strength is going to be somebody else's downfall. Right. So you're able to connect. You know, I talked about a guy that I had a meeting with yesterday where I need help with learning how to raise bigger amounts of money. He has raised millions and millions of dollars. Right. He needs help with learning how to run crews that are not in his home state. I feel that we're very, very good at that.
Yes.
So we got on the phone yesterday for an hour and we exchanged ideas on how he did it successfully, how I did it successfully, and we were able to network and coincide. So for you guys out there, like I said, for China, how do you go about getting into flipping homes? How do you go about raising money? Network. Through your networking, you're going to find people that have money that just don't have the time. People that know that real estate investing and flipping in Georgia is a great idea because they see the shit and they see the people out there. They see the people in the group. They just don't know who to deal. They just don't know who to trust. And because of your conversation with them, they now they find the trust to partner up with you. Right. And I've said it before, when I was wholesaling, never once did I put out marketing. All my deals came from networking. What do you have available? What do I have available? Right.
So let me tell you something else. Another tidbit here that's worked for us. We also go to networking events, but non-REI related. Nice. That's where you pick up private money. So if you go to a doctor convention or you go to an oil and gas industry, get on Facebook, look for events happening in my area. And it doesn't have to be real estate. You can put other categories in there. And that's how I've raised private money. I've raised a lot of private money from people in oil and gas because I've gone to oil and gas conventions. And I just, look, you sit around at a bar and you talk to anybody that's outside real estate, you're amazing because it's like you're doing something that everybody wants to pick up. Everybody. Look at the airport. Just coming out here at the airport, I got a couple of business cards. I think I'm going to do that on my way back out.
Guys, everybody, okay? Remember this.
Tell everyone.
Actors, lawyers, doctors, professional athletes, people that make shit tons of fucking money somewhere else. My retired supermodel, like international supermodel friend who literally just flew out to fucking Italy to do a spot in her 60s. I would love to do what you do. I would love to get into real estate.
Everybody wants to get into real estate. I don't care what part of the world you're in. Everybody wants to get. So when we travel overseas, because we also invest overseas, we have a couple of homes and we also have a commercial real estate overseas. All of our friends are like, how are you guys doing this? How is it? I want a piece of the pie. I have $30,000 laying around or kind of saved in savings. What can I do with it? You have to tap into your personal network first. And if they don't want to support you and they don't want to give you the ins on, I have some capital or go outside.
And look, go ahead. So I was just gonna say the concept of networking goes into our very next question, because when you're networking, you want to find someone to help you out. Like that's what you just told her, go find someone who's doing it. But Ryan has a good follow-up. He wants to know, when you're vetting people, what's a good way to vet a potential mentor when you're doing that?
The way is, so in Texas, there's this thing about the No HUD guru. Have you guys been hearing about that? Yeah. Oh, it's huge, right? This hashtag No HUD. I think Corey's the one that started that movement right there. But anyhow, the whole point here is that if you're trying to vet a mentor, talk to the people, their mentees. Ask to see their HUDs. Why not? If they can't provide that, then they're not really doing deals. Just those simple things, and have them walk properties, have them take you to walk their properties that they're flipping, if that's what they're doing, the deals that they're wholesaling, if that's what they're doing. Do that. Look, the way that I would like to reach people organically is I'll take a property that I'm flipping and I'll do a pre-demo party. I'll invite anyone and everybody that wants to come. It's open for anyone. I'll have something light, mimosas and pastries. And it's all about walking the property that I just acquired, what I bought it for, how much my rehab is going in, how much is my rehab, how much is my potential profit. And then once we're done with the property, we'll do the reveal party. Most of the people that went to my pre-demo party will go to the reveal party. And I end up selling the house sometimes on the spot at the reveal party. I don't have to list it. So be creative. Again, look at creative things. Oh, I don't have money. Okay, then get a title company to sponsor. It's just coffee and donuts. Mm-hmm. That's it. You don't have to give them anything, but if you give them something, great. As long as you're providing value, right? Coffee and donuts is not going to get you very far. As long as you're providing value, look, this is what it looks like. These are my numbers. When you're done, this is what the actual rehab ended up costing. So if I had a budget of $50,000 and it ended up being $60,000, great. What's your profit margin? Is your ARV still the same? Because the micro shifts in the market can also indicate that your ARV can potentially go up, or it can potentially go down.
So basically, Ryan, what she's trying to say is that you want to make sure that the people that you're looking for mentorship are actually doing deals. That is huge. And there's a lot of people out there selling stuff, pushing programs that have never done deals in their life. I'm not going to drop names, but I have mentioned this example before. There was a guy that I coached, took him 4 or 5 years before he even did his first fucking deal, did 3 fucking wholesale deals and was fucking selling and pitching mentorship. It was like, for reals, for reals, for reals. Really? This is, this is just the reality of the world that we live in. So guys, just make sure that people are actually doing deals. The second thing that I want to add to that is make sure that these people are not only doing deals, but doing deals the way that you want to do, the shit that fits your lifestyle. Yes. Because you might find, somebody like Cashflow Kris, and Cashflow Kris is a very hands-on type of guy. And then you might find somebody like me who's a very hands-off type of guy. Mm-hmm. You might be like, okay, well, both of you guys are actively doing it. Both of you guys are making money. Both of you guys can show me your HUDs as to what the shit that you actually did. Right. But, excuse me, I'm more of a hands-on type of person. I like that hands-on stuff. Or you might be like me, like, fuck that, I don't want to do any of that shit. So this is how you vet and you look out for your mentors is make sure that they're doing what it is that you want to do. Look for somebody who's doing or is where you want to be. But more importantly, make sure that you're doing it the way that you want to do it. Because you might follow somebody who's very successful, but then you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to do that. I don't like doing that. Oh man, that doesn't really resonate with me. So you want to make sure that you do that. We got Greg Cook over here saying, do what they're telling you. It works. Thank you, Greg. Yes, and actually, just to prove the fucking point, China Jackson got on the show and she was actively networking. She's asking questions. Then we got somebody named Nelson Martinez said, China, we can help you with financing in Georgia. Look at that.
There
Boom.
You go, right there.
There you go, guys. Networking. And motherfuckers, if you guys are watching us or hearing us on a replay, if you guys are on podcast land, make sure that you subscribe to us. Second of all, make sure that you download this episode. Third, make sure that you give us a 5-star review. But more importantly, this is why you join the live show. Yep. China might just got herself a personal partner or a lender or a hard money lender or a private money lender, something that she can use to get her business going just by joining us live and commenting and networking and sharing. And this is the power of networking.
You can also get with a hard money. Thank you for reminding me. Hard money lenders. They are almost your best source to tell you who's actually doing deals or not. You can vet your potential mentor that way. You can ask your mentor to use private money, because I'm not ashamed to say this. We use private money and hard money interchangeably.
Yeah, of course.
If the deal makes sense, because my private money can run out. My lenders run out, and I'm not, I can't control that. So then you always have that hard money lender to go back to. And I'm seasoned. I've been doing this for a while. I'm not going to tell you don't use a hard money lender. You can. If your numbers make sense and the deal works and your profit margin is still healthy and where you want it to be, go use a hard money lender. So you can also vet your mentors that way. Talk to a hard money lender. Or say, look, I want to get into flipping. Who do you recommend that you worked with, that you've seen that they've done really well and their returns are really well?
We've actually interviewed, I want to say it was episode 80-ish or so when we interviewed Lauren Howard.
Yep.
He was my personal hard money guy, the guy that funded probably 90% or so of my deals. And that was one of the things that we talked about. You know, verify when you deal with a hard money lender. This person does not want your property back.
No,
yes, they can make money, but they're not in the business of that.
No, they want
your fucking money. They want your points. They want your payments. They want your fees. They don't want that property back. It's actually more of a bigger pain in the ass. And yes, they might make more money on the back end by wholesaling it, but it's going to tie up their money longer. They could have made more money by flipping and everything else. Anyway, we talked about that. He knows, because he's a private money lender, he knows who the real people are doing, who is actively, like, there was times where I had talked with him and I was like, dude, yeah, this is what we're doing. He's like, yeah, man, you know, I just funded this guy's loan. Man, I hope he's right, because he's just, you know, like this one, I feel a little bit tight. I'm not sure if he may or may not. So they do have that. They do have that description. We got a China who responded. She said, "Please send the details." There you go, guys. Networking. Barbara Humbrickhouse saying hi from Illinois. Barbara. Thank you for joining us. We got Cassie saying, "My girl and my homies." Hey, Cassie. Hey, Cassie. I'm gonna need you to send me some of that perfume that you were wearing, so I can spray it on my lady friends. Because whatever the fuck she was wearing
over here, it was just.
What the? I was like, RJ, don't worry, bro. I'm not trying to take you, girl. I'm just like, God damn, you smell so fucking good. So we got Daniel in the watch party saying, I do believe in networking as well, but I have found that your leads flow faster from social media and marketing. You know what? I will disagree with that once again. Let me rephrase this. I will agree with you that your deals and your leads come faster from marketing. Mm-hmm. However, the best deals come from networking. And this is why people don't like networking. This is why gurus teach you their different marketing techniques, because it's easy for you to be like, all right, I take this money, I spend it over here, I'm going to get X amount of returns, and I'm going to get some deals to work. And it makes you feel, even if you don't get a deal out of it, it makes you feel good because you got a lead and shit. Right. But networking is the long game. Mm-hmm. That's the shit that you're going to plant a fucking seed today, and it may pay 3, 4, 5 years down the line. But when it's going to pay in droves. It's going to pay big. So I will, however, say that from networking, as we talked about earlier, social media is just another form of networking.
And much easier
form, because you're able to put. So here's what I teach my students. So my students that hire me for coaching is I say, look, go to networking. You cast your nest wide by going to all these networking events. You meet all these people. Then from there, you find out who it is that you want to be, who you want to emulate, and then you start casting your nest deep. Right. Now you start going deeper into the relationships with them. Social media allows you to do that. So I meet you somewhere at a networking event. Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to blah, blah, blah. Just like fucking the last day of high school, right? We're going to stay in touch. We're going to be best friends forever. Yeah, and then you go off and your own life, your own fucking shit, right? So we say, yeah, we're going to stay in touch. You're such a cool person. I love this conversation. Yeah. Then you go back to Houston and you have your own fucking life. Your boyfriend, your dog, your career, your business, whatever. I got my own fucking life. I got my kids, my business, my multifamily shit going on. We may not connect, but social media allows us to stay connected. Absolutely. So one of the things that I teach my students is anybody that you meet through networking, add them on social media. Because the next time that you run into them, like me and my boy Dan Satosky, we hadn't really talked too much outside of social media, but because we've been following each other for 2 years and we ran into this, hey man, I saw you were doing this. Hey, I saw you were launching this. I saw you've been speaking over here. I saw you've been speaking over there, blah, 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 blah. It adds that level of people. In order for them to do business, they have to know you, like you, and trust you.
And also, I think, relate to you. You have to be relatable, because you have a lot of people in this industry too that are not very relatable, and they fizzle out very quickly. Have you noticed that? They're like, oh, this and that, and they rub people the wrong way, and then they just fizzle out, and then you don't see them anymore.
And we talked about the power, of course, and this is why social media is very important, because through social media, people can see you, the whole bit of you.
Yes.
One of the best things that I did recently is I'm very private with my private life, and I wasn't really posting about my son. You know, I have he's about to be 1 here in so cute, Sunday. Yes, thank you. Yes. And I wasn't posting and sharing it. Okay. Cashflow Kris shared a story about one of our current lenders for our multifamily had been following him for a while. Okay. Like, he already knew what he does. He saw his shit. Right. Cashflow Kris made a video about how he makes his kids work, and how he pays them, and how it's tax write-off and everything else for them to grow their college fund or whatever. Right. he was like, oh shit, I was looking for something to do with my kids. Like, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
By the way, tell me about that deal. I happen to have money, and I know other people with money. And he's actually not only brought money into the deal, but he brought somebody else with money, right? Because Cashflow Kris was using social media, leveraging social media to be relatable to his investors.
Absolutely. And if those of you that if you feel maybe uncomfortable doing networking on social media, then here's another tidbit. I don't live here in Arizona. I'm visiting just for a few days. Yesterday, you can do something so simple. I didn't have it planned in my schedule. We just went and drove. We went and drove to an area here in Arizona. Saw a couple of houses that were one that's in foreclosure, a couple of abandoned houses. Stopped, spoke with a neighbor. He gave me the whole rundown of his neighborhood. Then, at the same token, I came across paths with the mailman. Spoke with the mailman. Told him, "Look, let's do this. Do you know of any houses?" Like, "Oh yeah, well this street, there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 2 streets over." And I'm over here taking notes. Gave him my number. Told him if he has any leads of any houses that he sees that, all that the mail that nobody picks up, or a house that's abandoned, he can pass me on those leads. And I don't even live here, and I have a couple of leads already in my hands. See, it's not an excuse. It's that easy.
There's people who live here in this fucking market who have been at it for months or years, who have never been able to find a fucking deal. This chick flies in, don't fucking know nobody. Just let me go talk. Oh shit, that house looks empty. Let me talk to some of the neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, let me talk to fucking mailman. Oh shit, I saw, because we're connected on social media.
Yes.
I saw you post the pictures of it and everything, and I think fucking awesome. And guys, this is what I always tell you: network, because you can get deals from anywhere. And as I always said, so back to Daniel's point, this was not marketing. This is networking.
Yes.
You come, you find a guy. He may or may not bring you a deal right now. He may bring you a few leads that may not even work out, but at some point, he may bring you a slam dunk that he just happened to see because it's in his fucking route.
Right.
You made it a beneficial for him. Hey, if I happen to buy one of these, I'll throw you some money.
Exactly.
He's like, let's say that you throw him $1,000 on a deal that you're going to make $10,000-$15,000, whatever, right? You throw him $1,000. How much work would he have to put in to make $1,000? So he's
already doing his job.
So now, because that happens, he's going to go boom.
Right.
Now, if that was just a regular letter sent out to a seller and you buy the seller, man, fuck. The chances of them actually even having another property or referring you to their friends and family, slim to none.
Exactly. So this gentleman, the mailman, he was like, how about if I tell my friends, because I have a lot of other colleagues that are in other parts of town.
There we go.
Golden, yes. And if they bring me something, then I'll make sure to take care of it.
And I use the analogy that you are a spider. When it comes to networking, you are a spider. Every single person that you know is a strand. Every single person that you know is a strand. However, every single one of those strands is connected to other strands. Your job is to be as a spider, is just sit in the middle, wait for something to fall, and once you feel the vibration, you go see what it is. It may be a deal, it may not. It may be a fucking leaf, it may be a nice juicy fucking fly. You don't fucking know. But every single time that you spread out and you expand out your web, the more threads that come out from each one of those people, which is what happened in this particular case. So we got
lots of leaves in our Phoenix web these days,
which is fine. But
where are those juicy flies at?
From networking is where you find it. From networking is exactly where you find it. So we got Jaleesa saying, talk about an amazing comeback. We got Robert Scott asking, is there any way to get a loan with no credit or job? Yes, it is. He says, I know it sounds crazy, but here's the thing. I know it sounds crazy, but fuck yeah, there is, bro. There is many different ways to get loans with no credit or no job. So specifically, if you're talking about real estate, you can get what's known as a hard money loan. Hard money lenders do not give a shit about your personal credit, your payment history, your job history, how much money you have in the bank. They don't give a shit about any of that. They are going to lend specifically on the asset. And sometimes if you get the asset cheap enough, they'll lend without even asking you for a down payment. Because once again, they're lending on the asset. They're looking at it as, hey, if I lend him on this house, it's worth $200,000, and I lend him $50,000 because that's how much he was able to lock it up, and this motherfucker doesn't pay me, guess what? I take the house back for $50,000, no harm, no foul, right? It might be a little bit different if you're buying it for a little bit higher. They might ask for a down payment. But that brings me to the second way which you can get a loan from somebody, which is called the private money loan by a private individual. Could be a friend, could be a family member, could be a neighbor, could be a coworker, could be somebody that you meet at a local club or a local meeting or whatever. Right. Could be somebody that you met through this fucking thread right here, just like China did. Could be a different individual that has money, and one way or another, they know that you can make them a better return because they know that real estate is a much better option than sitting in the savings account, sitting in an IRA, sitting in a fucking 401k, sitting in a CD, sitting in the money market, sitting in all these different places that people have their money that's not making them as good as a return as you can pay them if you know how to creatively put the deal together. Now, I am saying this, however, I do want to make a very strong point that if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, do not take out a hard money loan and do not get a personal loan.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But
talk with the people. Yeah,
but it's still possible.
Right, it's still possible.
Never had a private money lender pull my credit. Ever had that?
Yeah, no.
You know,
and here's the thing.
Never.
Here's the thing, Robert. You are asking the right questions. I believe it was Albert Einstein who said that if I had 60 minutes to figure out a problem that my life depended on it, I would spend the first 50 of those minutes figuring out what the right questions is to ask. So you asked the right question. You didn't say, oh man, I don't have a job or credit. I could never get a loan. No, you said, how can I get it? Is there a way? And the answer to that is yes. However, make sure that you get some mentorship, make sure that you get some guidance from people that are actively people that are actively using hard money loans, people that are actively using private money loans, so you don't go fuck somebody else. Because losing your money is one thing. Losing somebody else's money, that's a fucking bitch and a half, and you don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in there.
We got a fairly specific question over here on Facebook. Marcus wants to know, what is your guys' take this time if we're heading down again? He wants to know, are we heading down? Is the market going to crash again? Last time, all of his holds switched from huge gains to huge losses.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I've done to prepare. Okay, so I had a rental portfolio. We pretty much transitioned that entire rental portfolio into an owner finance portfolio instead. Oh. And we protected ourselves that way because really, I mean, keeping up with the maintenance and the management and all that, it was just getting a lot, and picking up rent and all that stuff. So we transitioned into that. Now, prepare yourself because it's going to be a big rental market in case there is a crash, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. If people are losing their houses, they're going to go straight to rentals. And then like BP was talking about before, they're going to be going from the nice houses to not so nice to apartments to our C-class apartments.
Exactly.
Right.
Guys, this is the way that the market shifts. These are called cycles because they tend to happen over and over.
And it's amazing. Now, people don't think they're going to happen. What happened in 1999? The stock market crashed. Yes. What happened in 2009? The stock market crashed. What year is it? Right. Oh, it's not going to happen this time, though. I mean, and they just stick their head in the sand and buy, hold, and pray. And you guys got to pay attention to what's going on out there.
Right. And then you have to also think about those are macro changes in the market, right? But the micro changes too. For example, in Houston, we went through Hurricane Harvey. Oh, man. That was disastrous. We weren't prepared. We really didn't know that something like that was going to happen. We thought, okay, hurricane, what typically happens in a hurricane, this was like rain nonstop for 5 days. It didn't stop, and it wouldn't stop. And it just kept going and going, and rain and rain and rain and rain. It just was crazy. And the aftermath was something horrific, something that we never expected. And the whole city was just taken aback because all these areas that didn't require flood insurance, now they're flooded. Yep. And you had a lot of investors go over again. They tanked. And that was next after the recession. That was the next setback in our city. We were lucky that we personally didn't have any of our stuff flood and none of our properties flooded, but I was doing some staging for clients, and the houses that did flood that I had staging, I lost all of my staging furniture. But that's nothing in comparison to losing, having a flip on the market. I had a client who I had her flip listed, and this happened to a lot of agents where you're in the option period. We were still in inspections, and with the rain, we had to postpone. And that house ended up flooding. It took in like 4 feet of rain. Well,
and here's the thing is that you said it earlier, but you have the correct mindset. you have the correct mindset of instead of being that person that has a problem for every solution, let me have a solution for every problem. When the market started tanking and you and your boyfriend started losing this cash cow that you had, and all of a sudden now you have to reshift your strategy. You could have said, oh, well, fucking man, it was a recession just like everybody else, went back to work like everybody else, or you would have figured it out. Our boy Daniel here has a really good comment that says people get really creative when they have no money. And that's what I tell people. If you had a gun to your head and you were a month away from your last dollar, what would you do to survive? Would you make it work? And the answer is obviously fucking yes. Now, that is having the right mindset. That is knowing that, hey, if I have any single issue, any challenge, I can go through it. And that's one thing that you learned from 2008 when you started losing your ass over there. Now happened the flood, which was completely unexpected in that area. It took a whole bunch of people by surprise. There's still houses that are fucked up because of that. Yes. There's a lot of things that came that you could have fed into the bullshit that your mind would normally bring up. Oh my God, it's going to do this. But you said, no. I have already shown myself that I know how to get. And this is one of the things that my mentor teaches me all the time. It's not what you achieve. It's who you become. Becoming the person that you know, no matter what fucking problem arises, you are going to be able to just get there and surpass it regardless. Regardless. I remember this one time, I was a house I got from auction from a lead. The house had a fucking bankruptcy on it. I talked to my title company that I was using to close. They said, hey man, we cannot insure this bankruptcy. Like, we just cannot. The buyer had his own title company who said, we can insure the bankruptcy, but you have to close on it first. So you close on it first and then we can insure the bankruptcy. Our underwriter said that it's fine. Well, I closed on it first. I borrowed money, and I borrowed money from a friend, and it was like $50,000 to close on this property. And I was like, dude, I'll give it back to you in like 2 days. Well, I buy it, I close on it. Then the fucking second title company says, oh, you know what? We can't do that. It's a bankruptcy. You know, we can't do that. I'm like, motherfucker, we told this shit, right? That was the longest 2 weeks of my life, 3 weeks, to trying to figure out. And, you know, my friend needed that money because she was a fellow flipper. She needed that money for a deal. It wasn't even her money. It was for another deal. So she's calling me every fucking day. Man, I didn't want to answer that phone. I didn't want to. That sinking feeling, right? Yeah, it was the worst thing. So what I did is I ended up going to Costco, and I said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm just going to do what I need to do, live my normal life. I saw a bottle of champagne Moet, and I bought it, and I said, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to sit this on my desk, and I'm going to look at it every single day, knowing that I'm going to pop this bitch when I figure out that problem. And sure enough, when we got the phone call that we got the problem solved, we're all going to be good to go. We're ready to close. Boom. Now, the reason why I say that is I still have the cork and I still have the bottle in my office. And that's a reminder that regardless of how hard it gets, regardless of how much I felt like shit that day, literally sitting in my fucking bed under my fucking blankets, just not wanting to exist at that fucking moment. Right. Because I let down this person over something that was not my control, but I still felt like shit because I let that person down.
You know, and I'm glad you shared this because this happens to us even if we're seasoned, right? I mean, you have to roll with the punches, no matter if you're new, if you're kind of in between, or if you've been in this a long time. Each transaction really teaches you something, and it's all about overcoming those setbacks, because the setbacks, they can be big and they can be small, but they're a big deal, especially when you're getting money from, somebody's lending you money, a friend, a business partner, whatnot.
Well, and it's who, like I said, it's who you become, the person that you become. You become that person that is able to take on these challenges, and it's all great. So we got Denise Richards, we got JT Turner saying networking is your net worth. Denise over here saying, I like that, a solution for every problem. Yep.
Hey, we got a bunch of people talking about an auction. You guys know what the heck they're talking about?
I have no idea. Somebody's talking about an auction. So
what's being auctioned?
What's being auctioned? Do we need a lender for the auction? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
What is that about?
I have no idea. But we got Lucy Martinez who says, it shows how strong and courageous you are. Elizabeth, you rock. Perfect. Thank you. So in those, let me see, in those crazy years, I was so excited to get rid of one of my flips before the market collapsed. I got out by the skin of my very teeth. And guys, there's a lot of people that did, but there was a whole lot more people that didn't, that got sunk in. And that was one of the things that every time that I told people that I was going to get back into the industry, specifically when I told them that I was getting into the industry in 2009, everybody thought I was fucking insane. Everybody thought I was insane because they're like, dude, this is the worst time to go. Lisa saying she can flip a couch. That's awesome. Great.
I got, where's the fucking couch for sale?
I'm like, what? So
I'll challenge you to sell me something. What are you guys talking about? Did I miss the auction? You did miss the auction. It was the coolest couch I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And yeah.
So just so you know, just like quick little side note, and for the audience who don't know, I once put together a poetry show called Fuck Yo Couch Poetry.
Okay.
And here's what I did is I bought a used couch from Craigslist.
Okay.
And we took, it was a parody from the Dave Chappelle show, you know, where he had the Rick James and he's like, fuck yo couch, fuck yo couch. So we took tennis shoes and we got black paint and we dipped it and we put it on the couch. So it looked like it was muddy footprints from fuck yo couch.
No wonder. I'm like, what is that about the couch?
I have no idea. So I got, let me see, Robert Scott asking, is there a way to get a lender without a job? Oh, yeah. So I did my own money just sold this week. Yep. As I said, guys, if you already have a little bit of experience, if you know what you're doing, talk to your network, connect with a private lender, somebody in your network. Hey, miss my friend, I will give you a good deal if you let me borrow some money for XYZ and by the way, I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been putting here.
Yeah, Ashley Hernandez too, Tim. She was on your show just not too long ago talking about property management.
Yeah, she was. She was actually on our show, last week?
Episode 91, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yes. And we were talking about property management, and she had a lot of good nuggets because she comes from the property management side.
Right.
So she actually worked inside of the property management. And that's what we always say, guys. Always learn from people who are actively doing it. We got Chris Underwood who says, I got 2 contracts, properties in Indiana available if anybody's interested. So if anybody's interested, let me know. And Chris, by the way, send me what you have in Indiana. I got a good friend of mine, super close friend of mine who is buying properties and holding and flipping properties in Indiana. So let me know, send them over.
Indiana's a very good market, by the way. Yes. So
yeah. So we got
I just had an Indiana package sent to me today. It's like 44 properties. Let's do some deals, guys.
Right there.
Yes. So let me see here. We got Landy. Not everyone is a people's people. You know what? You are correct.
Yes.
There is some people who are more naturally gifted at being a people person. However, I will tell you, Landy, that is a learnable skill. Not everybody's a natural at selling. Not everybody's a natural at getting past objections. However, those things are learnable skills. Now, I have said many times before, I am 5'10" at my absolute tallest. There is no way in fucking hell, regardless of how much training I did, that I would have been able to play in the NBA. Because these guys are just straight up fucking giants. and I've always said, I use the example that here in Phoenix, there was a basketball player called Steve Nash.
Okay.
Right. He also played in Texas for a while, but Steve Nash, he was little in retrospect. When you see him on TV, you're like, oh, look at that short little guy. Motherfucker 6'2" in real life.
No kidding.
and then you see like the Shaqs of the world, and you're like, God damn, look at this fucking giant Goliath looking motherfucker, right? Yeah. The point of it is that regardless of how much I did, I could have never became an NBA player, at least for the most part. I don't think, JD, do you know of any 5'10" NBA players? Do they happen to do that? I mean, I don't know.
Don't say Muggsy, because Muggsy was a freak. KJ was like 6'1".
No, he wasn't. KJ was under 6 feet.
Oh, there you go, guys. So 2 people that we can think of off the top of my head.
Nelson, you know.
But here's the point that I'm trying to make, guys, is this thing is a learnable skill. If you're not a people person, you can actually go ahead and work on that. So I have a son who's 16 years old, and I tell him, I was like, look, you don't need to be in real estate. You don't need to be in real estate at all. You don't have to be what I do, whatever. I will encourage you 2 things. One of them is learn how to sell. Because if you know how to sell, you can sell anything at any given point. It doesn't have to be real estate. Like whatever if you know how to sell. Second of all, find a way to get in front of people and learn how to talk to people. If you can get past that, and you know what, I'm going to tell you here, I forgot your name already. Let me see, what was your name? Landy, yeah. So Landy, I'm going to tell you here right now.
6'1", baby.
You don't have to be good. You don't have to be good. You just have to be a little bit better, than everybody else. And that's something that I tell my son all the time. Let me see. We got Celie Levine saying, "Hey y'all, welcome Celie." We got Eric James asking, "Where's the fucking couch?"
Oh my goodness, the couch.
Oh my god, dude.
What did happen to that couch? Now I'm curious.
The fuck your couch?
Yeah.
Dude, fuck your couch got canceled before we even started. So I set up the whole event. I had a venue. I talked to the manager. I told them we're gonna do an event called Fuck Your Couch.
Right.
It's an uncensored open mic, whatever, right? We had the section of this venue, and there was another section like a bar next to that.
Yes.
So we already told them I didn't know how crazy it was gonna get. So I hired 3 really big black guys and I got them all shirts that said Fuck Your Couch poetry, right? We're walking around with Fuck Your Couch poetry. Then I hired my DJ to play nothing but old school Southern crunk music and like all the unedited version, right?
Right.
So the fucking waitresses from the other side, they're like, what the fuck is going on? They call the owner. Now the fucking manager never asked the owner permission. He just said yes. We spend months advertising this. I flew people, like I flew my guest artists from a different state. I mean, we had it all set up. They literally, the fucking lady, the waitress says, "Here's the phone. I got who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing in my establishment?" I talked to your manager. Fuck that guy. That guy's a fucking idiot. You cannot do this. Get your fucking shit and pack up, and you cannot do this. Shut us down. We literally had to give everybody their money back. We had like 50 people or so. They were either there or showing up like right at the parking lot. Fucking crazy.
Oh my goodness.
So guys, this is what happens when you are out there and you just trials and tribulations. You know, Fuck Your Couch poetry may not have worked the way that I wanted to, but I learned so much. I learned so much about putting together events. I learned so much about perception. I learned so much about having clear, like, do you understand? Can you please reiterate what I just said to you so I can make sure that you understand and you understand what I just said?
Exactly.
You know, you have to put yourself out there. And that was a big learning lesson. You know, it sucked because I was talking so much stuff about like, dude, I'm only going to do one of these things. Like, I have no interest in doing this on a monthly basis. This is just a one and out thing. So because it's a one and out, we're going to go all about. It's me. So you already know it's going to be good. Like, I put this big old fucking thing and then nothing happened. That was such a big lesson of humbling. And then, but because I had already flipped houses, because I was already past that champagne incident that I mentioned to you, I knew that regardless of the situation, I can find what's best of it. And actually what ended up happening, and this is fucking funny, the owner decided somebody complained on Yelp and saying, hey, this is bullshit. We came all the way from the East Valley from an hour away for the show, and they canceled it. This was bullshit. I really think it's because the majority of the audience was black. So the guy gets all crazy, this Jewish guy, he gets all crazy. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, I don't like your people. Yeah. Exactly. Everybody collectively. Dude, that led into such a shitstorm for him.
I bet.
That this motherfucker, I don't know how he got my cell phone number. He's calling me 4 or 5 days later. Can you please get these people to stop? I'm not a racist. I have a black friend.
Oh, no.
Now, mind you, I never told these people to do this. I never once said, hey, guys, go get him. But he put his foot so deep in his fucking mouth. He put it on Yelp. He tried erasing it. By this time, people had screenshot it. They were putting it all over different groups. People, and this is people that weren't even gonna show up to my show were all of a sudden so offended by this, and let's boycott that place and stuff. And I was like, holy shit.
So
guys, but it was a learning lesson. It was a learning lesson. And how you do anything is how you do everything. I never once did anything. I actually came back and said, hey guys, can everybody just stop? Like, this is not my opinion.
Right.
This is not the official fuck your couch team. So anybody else saying your stuff, like, do me a favor, fuck off, because you're fucking with this guy's business.
Right.
Like, just fucking leave him alone. We just won't do this shit at his place again. If you were personally offended, just don't go. But just leave this guy fucking alone.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
it is what it is. So let me see. Just started. We got Emil Sexton that just started using Propelio after We Live 20 and now. Game changer. Yes. Big shout out to Propelio.
Yes.
We are rocking the Propelio shirts here. They don't pay us, but motherfuckers, you need to start fucking paying us because we plug you guys in.
What's up? Free trips to Dallas at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so guys, we are going to be wrapping up here. We got a ton of fucking comments about the couch.
I'm seeing that. I'm like, come on.
We got Patrick Villayani. Guys, this is how you know that you have arrived. You have a fucking troll. You have a fucking troll. You have a motherfucker that's got nothing better to do than to sit there and try to fuck with you.
Yeah.
My brother is a stand-up comic. You know how you arrive when you start getting fucking heckled.
All
When
right.
you got somebody that paid to go to your show to sit there and talk about how much your show sucks. Like, fuck, yeah, that's how you know. So this is a badge of honor because we have had haters on our show before. We have had shit talkers. We have had people that say, oh, no, you don't. That shit doesn't work. We have international people that come to our show. We have had really badass fucking guests, really people that we never expected to just show on our show, come in and comment on our show. But today, the 28th of fucking March, we have our first official troll. Woo!
All right. Woo.
And we're award winners. We're officially the worst live stream.
Nice. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm fucking talking
Are we
about.
really?
Yeah.
The worst.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get to be a part of that.
Oh, wow.
So,
All right, thank
so
you.
Patrick,
Appreciate
I
it.
will tell you, please do yourself a favor and go fuck yourself. From the bottom of my heart, as professional as I can say it, go fuck yourself. And if you want to talk shit next week, we'll be here every single Friday, which is what we said a little bit earlier. So if you guys are catching this on the replay, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, if you guys are catching us on a fucking podcast, and you want to waste your time just like Patrick and talk shit to us and troll us the whole show, by all means, join us every single Friday. Facebook.com/AZ Flip Guys every single Friday at noon Arizona time. And once again, Arizona time, we don't shift. So check what that means for your local schedule. But by all means, come in and join the fucking fun. Man, Elizabeth, this has been amazing.
I can't believe time has gone by so fast.
I think we're like at almost we're an hour and a half in the show.
Okay.
It's fucking crazy.
So for it to be the suckiest show ever, I think we did really well. And we're still making money. I mean, thank you for the troll, because you know what? This is only going to propel us to make make more money this way.
And Patrick, you can definitely pay for the couch.
Yeah,
I am sure. I'll give you the alleyway where we fucking put it, and I'm sure you can pay Bobby the hobo a few dollars to get that shit out. And by all means, keep that couch, man. It's fucking awesome. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions that you didn't get a chance to answer because you're watching on a replay or on a podcast, make sure you put it on the comments. We'll go back and answer your questions. Elizabeth, motherfucker, look, just like always, Mark Delgado, we got a question last minute, just like when we're saying we're going to wrap up. This has happened for like the last fucking 5 weeks in a row.
I understand. I know this.
All right, so we got, let me see, do you guys do apartment investing? What is the best way to go about it? Flip Guys. So we do apartment investing. The best way to go about it is through networking. Find people that are actively do it, preferably find a way to add value where you can work for free, partner up with them, or more than likely, if you want to save a lot of time and energy, go ahead and pay somebody who is actively doing that. Pay for one-on-one mentorship or pay for a program where you can learn. That's how I learned. That's how a lot of people that we know learn. But as we talked about, you talked about many times through this, is just networking. And
if you go back, we've broken down 2 apartment purchases in full. I mean, we whiteboard it, we go on location, we've done everything. So just go back, look at our Flipping Fridays, and all that info is there for you.
Perfect.
You can also go to Propelio Academy. They do free. It's absolutely free real estate investing education. You log on, it's absolutely free. You can find anything and everything related to real estate.
Yeah, and we're speaking of Propelio TV.
You guys are gonna go.
Yeah,
we're
gonna have a show on Propelio. So
excellent.
He wanted to do something here for the Phoenix guys with us, Steve, Troy, and a bunch of other people here.
Yes.
Yeah, so he wanted to do something here, but we had actually talked about going out there and recording a few shows, particularly a little bit different format than this, but a little bit more section on cash flow, creating cash flow, passive income, that type of shit.
Perfect. Yes, and you can also catch me 3:00 Central Time. Propelio every Wednesday, the Business and Life Mastery Show. My co-host is amazing, Debbie Camacho Franco. The both of us talk about anything and everything related to business and personal too, because it's mindset, leadership, and also having the right connections and the processes in your business.
It's
at
about
3:00. Yes, every Wednesday.
And make sure that when you're done with here, make sure that you tag it on the comments. So if anybody's interested, they can go in. We'll put it on the show notes so you guys can follow her. You can follow her. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Houston REI Network. You can also find me at Eli_Nava, ELI_NAVA.
Perfect. Well. And guys, we tell you all the time that the most successful people are the most accessible. I am sure that if you reach out to her and you're not wasting her time and you have a legitimate question, you can talk to her and she'll be more than glad to talk to you, especially if you're in the Houston market. This is somebody who's actively doing stuff in the Houston market, making it happen. And I do want to put it out there, guys. It is all about the mindset. It's all about the 6 inches in between your fucking ear. That's how you know to invest your time as opposed to waste your time like our fucking trolls are doing.
Yeah, Noah, Patrick, Lisa, come on, step up.
I love it, dude.
Man.
I love it.
Like some of the
Actually,
weakest.
but can you do me a favor? Can you bring some more friends next time?
That'd
be fucking great.
Yes, that would be great.
And if you happen to have a fucking like a little group, a Facebook group where you and the rest of your hecklers hang out, can you share our show in there so we can have a little bit more people on there?
Yes,
nonetheless, you know, one of the things that we've talked about here that you brought up is the mindset. And I do want to put out there, I have been reshifting my whole mentorship program, and I've decided that I am no longer mentoring people when it comes to about real estate at all. 100% of my mentorship is going to be mindset, specifically how to create the life that you want to and how to attract it with your mind. So if that's something that's of interest to you, if you are currently in business and you are hitting a wall, you're hitting a glass ceiling and you just don't know, I will tell you right now that it's your fucking mindset. And if you want to fucking change it and you're very seriously about it, yes, I don't fucking give you my time for free. Yes, I do have a family that I have to attend to and other shit that I have to attend to. So if you're going to take my personal time, there is going to be an investment for it. But I have decided to switch that on there, and we are going to be switching on mental because we can give people all the stuff. You can give them the list. You can give them the scripts. You can show them exactly. You can fucking hold their goddamn hand and walk through them. Right. And if they have the wrong mindset, they're never going to get it correct.
And also that shift from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset, meaning that, you know, you go from that having your supposedly security to not, well, how much more security do you want than you call your own shots instead of working for somebody else and them calling the shots and letting you go whenever they want to.
And that's the great thing about personal development and focusing on your mindset is that eventually you realize that everything that happens in your life, everything that has happened in your life, everything that will happen in your life is because of you, because you have attracted that. And once you learn that first, and then you learn how to control that into how to manipulate that to get the shit that you want now. Man, it's amazing. And one thing that I tell all my students is that every single one of us is a master of the law of attraction. It just happens that most of you guys are masters on the bullshit side of it. You guys have mastered how to attract bullshit into your life as opposed to attracting with the shit that you really want. But it all comes down to the mindset. So Elizabeth, man, it's been amazing here. If you guys want to reach out to her once again, check out her Propelio show every single Wednesday.
3:00 Central, 1:00 Arizona time.
Yes. So anyway, guys, we appreciate you here. We got JT Turner saying every week, great show. We appreciate you guys, every single one of you guys here. If you guys value from this show, make sure that you share it. Make sure that you comment it. As I said, we're not pitching anything. We're not selling anything. And if you guys are interested in the Kingdom Connect, which is where we'll be going a lot deeper into this thing, we're doing our next event over in May, at the end of May over in Charlotte. Cashflow Kris and myself will be there personally.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually going to be one of the keynote speakers there, so it's going to be an amazing event. If you guys have not heard me speak live, holy fucking shit, you guys are missing out on some shit. And
it's a clean show, don't worry.
Yeah, it's like it won't be like the last Kingdom video that I did where I was literally rolling up a blunt and drinking a 40 while talking about how to reprogram your mind.
If he can do it, you can do it.
Man, and it was amazing. That one we had 300. Well, time that I screenshot it, 375 fucking comments. That is insane.
I did catch that one actually. Now that you're
insane, man. Holy fuck. Anyway, guys, so that is Cashflow Kris. That we got our girl Elizabeth. I am Cashflow Creator. First of all, before I forget, that motherfucker at Cashflow Kris, Kris with a K. Make sure that you follow him on Instagram. Make sure you follow me at Cashflow Creator. Once again, reminding you to flip for cash, but more and more importantly, make sure you hold for wealth. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Thank you.